What's going on YouTube? This is your captain back again, bringing you another deck profile, and I'm super excited to finally be bringing you guys deck profiles again. It's been a long while, for sure. I kind of fell off playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Once Link Summoning came out. It's the first time that I kind of seem interested in playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Once again. I did end up going with the hype train with Sky Strikers. I thought they were going to be a much better deck than they were. Unfortunately, they're not number one right now. We do not have the full support right now. But they're still going to be top 4, top 8. Plus, at the end of the day, it really comes down to who's the better pilot of their deck. Someone can play the best deck in the format, and if by chance they don't know how to play it correctly and don't know just the little intricacies of playing Yu-Gi-Oh!, then I'm going to win, 100%. I did follow the hype train with Sky Strikers. It's a pure build. I just think it's the best way and the most fun to play. I understand the aftermatch procedures right now. That's why everyone's playing Trickstar Sky Strikers, but that's just not fun to me. So I'm going to make this a really quick deck profile for you guys. Again, it's a really fun deck to play, and it's still one of the best decks in the format. 3 Sky Striker Ray. It's the only main deck Sky Striker there is. You run 3 of her, of course. You can tribute her, and she'll special summon Shizuku Kugari, which are your 2 Link summons, straight from your extra deck, so you can kind of go off with your plays. I run 2 Ghost Ogre and 3 Ash. Out of all the hand traps, I think these were the best, just because Ash Blossom's amazing. Ghost Ogre is a good second for you, because it'll destroy, not negate. This won't destroy, but this will negate. So it's interesting. And I run 1 Diabolos. I hate this card, but something I've realized is a lot of cards, a lot of decks this format don't have giant beaters. They have a lot of strategies and getting all these different cards out at the same time to just flood the field with monsters. Not a lot of them have a lot of attack. So by having Diabolos in this deck, late game at least, you can have a 3000 beater just kind of helping you smash right into your opponent to kind of win the game. As for the spells, most self-explanatory one would probably be Engage. You can search your deck for any Sky Striker card, and if there's 3 spells in grave, you get to draw 1. So it becomes a pie to greed. The best card in the deck, 100%, would be Widow Anchor. Quick play, you can target 1 card in the field, does target, negate their effect. If by chance you have 3 spells in grave, you get to take control of it for the turn. So it gives you another body against your life points. 3 Hornet Drones. This was put to 1 in the OCG ban list for Worlds, so that'll be interesting to see what it is and how everything plays out. But now, as it is now in the TCG, you get 3 of them, so it gives you 6 Rays in deck, so that way you can just go into your plays really quick. I run 3 of the Field Spell. I really enjoy the Field Spell for what it is. I wish it was stronger, but, you know, what can you do? The main thing is you usually pair this off with multi-roll, because then you can use multi-roll effects to pop this. And when this is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special array from deck. My favorite part is that you can excavate cards. You can set 1 card on the field, and if by chance you target it, you can excavate 3 cards from your deck. If by chance it's a Sky Striker monster or Sky Striker card, you can add it to your hand, and then that set card gets into the graveyard. If by chance it isn't a Sky Striker card, like an Ash Blossom or an Upstart Goblin, then you take the card, but you also keep the card that's set. I run 2 multi-roll. It's probably one of the most important cards in the deck. Usually, whether you're going first or going second, you usually want to try your hardest to get this out as early as possible, so then the rest of your plays at the end of the turn, what this card does is, for the amount of spell cards that, well, Sky Striker spell cards that were used after this card's activation, you can set that many Sky Striker spells from your graveyard at the end phase, so you just have some board for next turn. You're readying yourself for next turn. But the main thing is that you can destroy 1 other card in the field once per turn, only on your turn, and then for the rest of the turn your opponent cannot negate or activate in response to any of your Sky Striker cards. I run 2 Afterburner, one of the best cards in the deck, just because it destroys 1 monster on the field. And if by chance there are 3 or more spells in the grave, you can destroy 1 spell or trap card on the field. Then you have Jamming Wave. I hate this card. I side it out all the time, only because you have to target a set spell and trap card first. And nowadays, everyone's running, 2 trap cards, unless you're playing Trickstars. But after that, if there's 3 spell cards in grave, you can destroy 1 monster on field. So it's alright. I just really dislike it. 1 Hercules base. I think it's such a necessary card, even though it's not amazing. You can equip it to any of your Sky Striker monsters. It allows it to attack twice, but it can't attack directly. And anytime it destroys a monster by battle, you draw a card. But the main thing is that you would usually use multi-rolls to pop this, and when this is destroyed by a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can recycle 3 Sky Striker cards and put them back into your deck. So usually you go through a Kagari and a Shizuku really fast, at least 2 per turn, and since you have 3 of each, you can kind of, after 2 turns, kind of put them back into the extra deck for you, so you can keep your plays up and keep grinding faster than your opponent. The main, like, small engine would be the 3 Foolish Burial Goods and 1 Metal Foil Fusion. Pretty self-explanatory. Send 1 spell trap card to the graveyard, this to the graveyard. This will help you get 3 spells in graveyard really fast. If by chance at the end of the turn, you can just use this effect and draw an extra card. I run 2 Terraforming, so I run 3 Field Spell, 2 Searchers. Kind of a good balance, 3 to 2. Easy way to get cards in graveyard. 2 MST. I like running MST more than Twin Twister, just because a lot of times I don't want to discard one of the cards that are in my hand just to pop 2 cards. I'd rather pop 1 card and get 1 spell in grave than having to dump 2. Sure, it makes sense sometimes if you want to get 3 spells in grave really fast, you can use Twin Twister and you immediately get 2 in grave if by chance you discard a spell. But at the same time, if it's an Ash Blossom or if it's a Ghost Ogre, something like that, you know, just power cards that I want to keep in my hand on reserve and not have to waste just to pop 2 spell or trap cards. The 1-ofs are Rhoda, Foolish Burial. Usually you'll either do Ray, because if one of your Link monsters is destroyed, you can special Ray from graveyard, or Diabolo, same thing. If Ray is destroyed or tributed because she's a dark monster through her own effect, you can special Diabolus from the graveyard. I want to get through the deck as fast as possible, so I run 1 Upstart Goblin, and then for the 2 traps, I'm going to run 2 Solemn Strike. To be honest, between 3 Widow Anchor, 2 Strike, 3 Ash Blossom, and 2 Ghost Ogre, you have a lot of ways to stop your opponent, and that's pretty much all I really try and do, because I can just outgrind my opponent, and as long as I know how their deck works, because you're good at Yu-Gi-Oh, you know other decks, and that you're going to know where to hit their power plays. You know where to hit them to kind of stun your opponent, so you'll be good for next turn. That is 40 cards. Going on to the extra deck, it's very self-explanatory. 3 Kagari. They only require 1 Sky Striker monster, so you can just use your Ray or your token and you special summon this. This one's effect is when it's special summoned, you get to take 1 Sky Striker spell card from graveyard, add it to hand. So that's Engage, Widow Anchor, anything. You can just reuse them. But depending on how many spell cards you have in grave, you gain 100 attack for each. Even in late game, this monster is probably going to make a, let's say, 2400 attack. That's really not that much. That's why you want to try and use the other Link monsters. And then you have Shizuku, which is the complete opposite. This is during the end phase. At the end phase, if this card's on the field, you can search for any Sky Striker spell card that's not in your graveyard. Kind of limiting, but makes sense, so you're not just searching for another Engage. Sure. And just kind of a constant effect. For every spell card that you have in your graveyard, all monsters your opponent controls loses 100 attack. The only other important Link monsters that I put in this are Borreload, Deagle Talker, Phoenix, and then Griffin. You can put Link Karibo. I don't have my Link Spider yet. It's still in the mail. Other than that, you can kind of put whatever you really want. These are just the main cards that you really want for the Sky Striker bit deck. Same thing with the extra deck. It's very weird. I mean, I run the 3 Winter Cherries. So just in case, if I'm doing like a mirror match, or if I'm going against Trickstar, or if I'm going against any rogue deck, I can just use my Winter Cherries. I really like running 3 Imperial Iron Wall, mainly because when you are running multi-roll, when you use multi-roll's effect to get the card back to the field, after it's done being used, once it's been brought back by multi-roll effect to be set at the end phase, it's supposed to banish itself. by having this on the field, it's not going to banish itself, so you have either Kagari to get card back from grave, or you can use multi-roll again to kind of get it back to the field. But at the same time, I usually use this for the Trickstar matchup, just because I really hate reincarnation, for them to banish my whole hand face down and then draw that amount of cards. So it makes it so they can't reincarnation myself. I don't have more of it, but Mistaken Arrest, it's pretty much a max C once per turn. It's really good. I would totally recommend running at least 2 of them. I unfortunately only have 1. I don't really have a side deck right now, but I don't really care about that. But that's pretty much the whole deck. Sky Strikers are fun. I enjoy them. They do need some work. There are 2 other Exceed monsters that we do not have yet, so I'm very excited to get those. So we'll see in the near future how Sky Strikers kind of explode. So with that, this is your captain, signing out. If you guys enjoyed this deck profile, remember to leave a like, tell me what you guys think, and tell me what kind of variations you guys are playing for Sky Strikers. I'd really like to hear what kind of cards you might have teched in or teched out, depending on what you're playing. But with that, this is your captain signing out. Have a nice day, everyone.